Good morning and welcome to Wichita State University's Weekly Briefing. I'm Tracy Freese, Director of Communication for Research and Economic Development. These briefings are held in an effort to keep the campus and the public better informed about the progress occurring at Wichita State. Following the university update and today's featured topic, there will be a time for questions. A week ago, Jay Golden was introduced as WSU's president-elect. During his time on campus, Dr. Golden visited with students, staff, and faculty. He was able to meet with executive teams of student, faculty, USS and UP Senates, university deans, the WSU Foundation, and the student ambassadors. He and his wife, Dina, were also able to tour and visit with the hardworking staff in Shocker Hall, the Dorothy and Bill Cohen Honors College, Radigan Student Center, Marcus Welcome Center, Woodman Alumni Center, Grace Wilkie, and the John Bardo Center. They also spent time at WSU Tech with administration, staff, and board members. Dr. Golden has been active on Twitter, answering questions ranging from his collection of black and yellow ties to soccer. In an interview with The Sunflower, he mentioned interest in building interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary programs, increasing diversity across campus, and an emphasis on shared governance. During his time at Wichita State, he stressed his two guiding principles would be enhancing the student experience and increasing enrollment. Dr. Golden, currently Vice Chancellor at East Carolina University, will become Wichita State's 14th president in January 2020. To prepare for January, Dr. Golden has asked campus leaders to answer questions and surveys about their departments. The documents are available on Wichita State's public records page. The Legislative Joint Committee on State Building Construction has approved the lease agreement between the YMCA and Wichita State, allowing for space to be shared between the YMCA, Student Health, Counseling and Testing, and Wesley Healthcare. This approval solidifies the previously announced and KBOR-approved arrangement that will better serve our students and community at large by providing these services in one place on campus and increasing healthcare access in this area of Wichita. Also covered during the State Building and Construction Committee meeting was the recommendation to allow Wichita State to issue bonds to construct Woolsey Hall. This is the second step of many during the design, bid, build process through the state of Kansas and has been to KBOR for approval. It will now go to the legislature for consideration during the upcoming season. Monday is Veterans Day. Classes are in session and offices are open. The Office of Diversity and Community Engagement will hold a Veterans Celebration event today at 11:30 a.m. in Radigan Student Center, room 233. On Monday, a cake cutting ceremony will be sponsored by Military and Veterans Services from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the first floor of the Radigan Student Center. Every day until Monday, 22 American flags are being placed around Wichita State's campus as part of a suicide awareness campaign by the Student Veterans Organization. The 22 flags represent an estimate of daily suicides involving veterans, according to Veterans Administration statistics, SVO President Levi Shink said. 22 flags planted for 16 days of the campaign equals 352 flags, which Shink said represents the year-to-date estimates for active duty military personnel. A Veterans Crisis Hotline card is attached to each flag. Participants are encouraged to take the card and take a selfie with it, then post the picture to social media with the hashtag SVO22. Each selfie with a valid card enters the person into a drawing for an Amazon gift card on November 12th. The Suicide Awareness Summit will take place outside Grace Wilkie Hall at noon on Friday. The summit features speakers aiming to raise awareness about the suicide epidemic. Master Sergeant Amber Boyd is the keynote speaker. Wichita State extends its congratulations to Brandon Whipple, who won Wichita's mayoral election on Tuesday. Representative Whipple is a graduate of Wichita State and an adjunct professor in the political science department who is teaching 2 sections of American politics this semester. Tuesday's men's basketball game against Omaha marked the introduction of the Shock Block, the new name for Wichita State's student section. Students chose the name with online voting from a group of 5 finalists. And now I'd like to introduce our featured speaker, Rodney Miller, Dean of the College of Fine Arts.
Good morning. My name is Rodney Miller, and it is my privilege to be the Dean of the College of Fine Arts at Wichita State. I've been asked to illustrate how our college enhances the mission and vision of WSU. This is a task I am both pleased and proud to do. Faculty and alumni from the WSU College of Fine Arts have won or been nominated for every major arts award there is. The Oscar, the Tony, the Emmy, the Clio, the Grammy, the Pulitzer, the Fulbright, the Olivier in England, and the Guggenheim. Our graduates have performed or have works on Broadway, at the Metropolitan Opera, the Metropolitan Museum, MTV, the Library of Congress, Spike Lee, the Getty, West End in London, the Smithsonian, Vienna Staatsoper, Snoop Dogg, Museum of Modern Art, Covent Garden, dozens of Hollywood films, and every other major arts venue in the world. The WSU mission is to be an essential educational, cultural, and economic driver for Kansas and the greater public good. The College of Fine Arts has a long and storied tradition of strong ties educationally, artistically, and economically to the Wichita community, to Kansas, and the Great Plains. This relationship is significant with regard to the following. The nonprofit arts and culture sector is a $100 million industry in the city of Wichita, one that supports over 3,000 full-time equivalent jobs and generates $10 million in local and state government tax revenue. Wichita arts organizations spend close to $50 million during the last fiscal year, and they also leverage close to $55 million in additional spending by cultural audiences, spending that pumps revenue into restaurants, hotel, retail stores, parking garages, and other local businesses. The College of Fine Arts at WSU is the keystone to the Wichita arts community for this economic engine. There are over 500 arts entities in Sedgwick County alone, and the College of Fine Arts has some kind of tie or relationship to more than 75% of them. For example, 90% of the Wichita Symphony Orchestra are students, faculty, or alumni of WSU. Half of Local 190 of IATSE, or International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, are WSU alumni. Depending upon the school district, between 66 to 75% of the arts teachers are WSU alumni. Every theater in Wichita employs WSU grads as actors, technicians, directors, etc. Mosley Street Melodrama, Roxy's Downtown, Signature Theater, Forum Theater, Music Theater for Young People, Wichita Children's Theater and Dance Center, Prairie Pines Theater, Crown Uptown Theater. These were all founded by or are now owned by WSU alumni. Music Theater of Wichita is probably the biggest seasonal employer. Last summer, 14 members of the orchestra were WSU grads or faculty. 5 WSU grads and or students were hired as actors, and half of the production staff were WSU faculty, students, or staff. Almost every private gallery in Wichita is either owned or managed by a WSU alumni. During one week-long period last year, 5 WSU alumni performed leading roles at the Metropolitan Opera. And during last year's Broadway season, at least 5 of our alums had major roles in musical theater productions. Wichita is a nucleus for cutting-edge development in graphic design. Bill Gardner of Gardner Design is the world's leading authority on logos. And Sonia Gredeman of the Gredeman Group is a pioneer in the use of social media in advertising. Both are WSU alums. More than 50% of the designers employed in Wichita are WSU alums. The vision for Wichita State is to be globally recognized as the model for applied learning and research. For artists, research usually equates to creative activity. The College of Fine Arts produces more than 500 performances and presentations annually on campus, and it collaborates with a myriad of Wichita entities to create an additional 2,000 performances and presentations off campus. Every student graduating from the College of Fine Arts engages in an applied learning activity. Most of them do so every semester that they are in school. Faculty and students routinely perform and present on every continent in the world. Well, maybe not Antarctica, but the rest. We also have a new emphasis on research and have been collaboratively working with Hewlett-Packard, for example, on virtual reality and augmented reality. We had a recent faculty member receive a patent. In the last 4 years, we've had 2 Fulbright scholars, one to Peru and one to the Czech Republic. And we've had a 75% increase in grant applications, the highest we have ever had. We have participated in over 300 partnerships and internships. These go from Airbus to Ballet Wichita to the aforementioned Snoop Dogg. We've had 2 recent formulations of major degrees in this area. One is an MA in Arts Leadership and Management, which is completely online, and the other is a Bachelor of Applied Arts in Media Arts, which was founded 3 years ago, consisting of 5 different majors: animation, game design, audio production, filmmaking, and collaborative design. We are now in our 5th semester, and we have attracted 300 majors into these programs. It will become, as of the November KBOR meeting, it will become the 4th school in the College of Fine Arts, and it will be called the School of Digital Arts. The motto of our college is that we change the world by changing the lives of our students, which I believe we've adequately illustrated this morning. But in so doing, we also change the lives of people in the Wichita and the greater Kansas community as well. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dean Miller. Those are some extremely impressive statistics, and I think I can speak for all of us when I say they make me really proud to be a Shocker. In closing, are there any questions? If there are no questions, we'll remind you that the programs and initiatives at Wichita State are driven by our vision to be globally recognized as a leader in applied learning. Thank you. To be internationally recognized as the model for applied learning and research, and our mission to be an essential educational, cultural, and economic driver for Kansas and the greater public good. Thank you for coming to the briefing. The next briefing will be held at 10 a.m. on Thursday, November 14th.